Okay, after 200 hours in Zelda, I completed it 100%. My look, it's hard stuck on silver, so I wonder what will be the next game to suck me in for hours. I guess only time will tell. Oh no. Video games are such a wonderful thing, am I right? We can get transported to a world where we are a hero, we can battle giant beasts, explore amazing worlds, or just make some blocks fall into place. With the years, I have discovered so many wonderful games, and I realized that open worlds are one of my favorite genres, since I love wandering and exploring the wonderful secrets these games have waiting for us. But it is a really hard thing to pull off. Every open world I played felt empty to me, until Zelda came and became the Regina George of the genre. It is a masterpiece, and a masterclass in open world design. It gave us so much freedom and opportunities to express ourselves that it is hard to go back to other open world games. But what happens when the open world takes us outside of the world and becomes an open galaxy? We have been really spoiled by gaming companies nowadays, that we really want that enormous limitless game that satisfies all our needs. We have Zelda, Witcher 3, Red Dead 2, Elden Ring, and now one of the biggest challenges is just around the corner: Starfield. This game looks massive, and it really shows us how much time the devs have been working to develop this world. Nope, scrap that. This galaxy. It really gives us the promise that exploration is going to be really important. We have over 1000 planets to explore. This game is something that is really going to push forward the space exploration genre, since the last game to try it with such degree was a disappointment. At launch, I said at launch, I know it's better now, and there are other games trying to tackle the same idea of infinite exploration / survival in space. Ooh. But Starfield is made by a company we all know and love, Bethesda. They made Skyrim and Fallout, games regarded as one of, if not the best RPGs in the market. And after that, you may be saying, dude, your title said you are scared, but I don't see your scaredness. Well, the thing is, there is something that I find really important in my games, something that I couldn't put my finger into until maybe 4 years ago. You see, all this exploration, politics, and space battles are glued by something that every video game has, and it should be the first thing that the team tackled while producing the product. Every nook and cranny of the game, every step you take, everything you see on the screen and feel are powered by the core of the gameplay. The gameplay, I think, is one of those things that even past cherished Bethesda games lack. It's really cool to explore the world around you and encounter dragons and werewolves, but when I found them and the only thing I can do is... Your gameplay should always be the first step into making a game. How the game is going to be played. What are you going to be able to do? How are you going to do those things? Set the rules and the limits for the player. For example, in Zelda, they give you physics close to the real world. So if you can think of it with the elements they give you can do it. You can cut a tree, then grab it and use it to make a vehicle, or use to make a campfire. But the limits of the game tell you that you can't freeze the tree or grow more of them, since they limit you to never be able to collect seeds. Those are the limits the game forces onto you. Planting trees isn't part of the core gameplay, but outside of that, everything you do is the correct answer. That is the design aspect of Zelda. There is no goal other than beating Ganondorf, a fight where all those physics you have been learning can be used. The rules stay true in every single second of the game. So, if we put the same logic into Starfield, the gameplay is built around how you are going to move from planet to planet, how we deal with the politics around the world, collecting items and finding alien life. But here's the thing, all of this you can do it by just running around the world and pressing A or click in the dialogue portions. But the meat in any RPG or adventure game is going to be the combat, since it is the thing you are most active when interacting with the world, killing bad guys, killing aliens, and so on and so on. And combat is something that I think games really struggle with, even Zelda, since you can just spam the attack button and see the enemy's life bar melt away, unless it's a Gleeok or a Lino. Gaming has been set on this battling engine, where you need to match the same combination of buttons over and over, and once or twice in between those, dodge an upcoming attack. Or in From Software's case, a much more rich experience where you tap the dodge button over and over again and then press the attack button once or twice in between them. But From Software combat can be really rewarding if you put your time into it. Or, in the case of Zelda, you have so much goddamn freedom that you can approach the battle in so many different ways, that each battle is a new opportunity to try something new, and each battle rewards you with a new fusing material, so it's worth to get out of your way to take that battle. But until now, what we have seen in Starfield is really underwhelming. And they are really trying to sell us that they are making something good, seeing that their game has a really good game feel. It's not focusing on the game play. What is the point of me searching countless worlds and exploring them if when I can actually interact with something, the gameplay is just... And this has been a really huge problem with Bethesda, in my opinion. I don't know if everyone has the same problem, or has a better understanding of the deep concepts of the battle design in Bethesda. But even in Skyrim, a game I fell in love with multiple times because of the setting, freedom, and I mean, I just love turning into a werewolf and casting magic and shit. But whenever I found a dungeon or a boss I had to fight, the gameplay usually revolves around me just... There is nothing that differentiates the gameplay in Skyrim from any other game where you just need to... Even in Fallout, I wasn't a big fan of the scan shoot technique. Yeah, it embraces the RPG formula of a turn-based combat and makes use of the lock stat in the game, and flexes on how they program the function to damage different parts of the enemy's bodies, with different results, like them dropping their weapons if you shoot the arm. But when the gameplay takes me out of the game, puts a stop on everything going on around me, like the pause button, yeah, I have a problem with that. Because it's not like I'm doing something, I'm just clicking where I want my bullets to go, instead of just shooting, clicking where I want my bullets to go in real time. And yeah, you might be saying, dude, the world they build is so rich, and has a lot of options, and the characters, and shut up, I like this game. First of all power to you. You like what you like. I know I'm the weird one here. Second of all, so what? Like I said, the world building and every dialogue doesn't mean anything to me if my time with the controller in my hands is not worth it. It's no fun. It's just... The thing that really bugs me and scares me besides all the thing is that they are making the mistake of thinking that the weapons are going to be the signature of the game. They say they put a lot of time designing all of the weapons and that there are a lot of them. Nice, huge respect for the designers and the programmers. But when all of the weapons are guns and swords, they are lost in translation, and everyone is going to say, yeah, I like the gun that shoots like pew pew instead of, actually I like the Glock 3000 that shoots flesh-eating puppies. You are in space, and you should be using that to your advantage. For example, if they made this huge deal about gravity and jetpacks, why not use it? Oh, and here's something really important. They might be doing it. Maybe they are doing all the stuff that I'm just about to say, but they haven't released that information yet, so yeah, moving on. So, jetpacks, right? We all love jetpacks, and we love vertical movement in video games, more in open world ones, where you need to travel across the world. But when it comes to combat, it's just a means for you to get to the high ground, and in the air, not that much different from being in the ground. So how about we use that skill tree to make it useful in combat? They give us information about how you can level up your skill tree in melee combat, stealth, and all of that. So what if, to give it a little bit more of a punch to our combat, we add the jetpack to it? And you can level up a skill in the melee branch, allowing you to make a dash to kick the enemies with the speed of a jetpack, or stab them with a melee weapon, or use a jetpack to propel yourself to an enemy, grabbing them and throwing them to other enemies. It can even work in zero gravity. Or in the stealth branch, you can get behind someone and grab them, and then shoot them into the ceiling and make them pass out. Maybe an ability in zero gravity to use a jetpack to start spinning and cover more ground with your bullets. And with that, the game can have much more personality and differ itself from other shooters, since this game is an RPG after all. It shouldn't be a shooter, or a... whatever that means. It should make a name for itself in every aspect of the gameplay, and not just in how they present the world. Just think of Final Fantasy. We remember Ifrit, Fira, Kuraga, Omnislash. In Kingdom Hearts, we remember Balor, Winsome, and Master Forms. And we remember each and every fucking weapon from Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter oozes with personality. And of course, being a shooter doesn't mean that it can have personality on its shooting. Just think of Dead Space. It's an horror-based shooter in space. And you can use different weapons for different results, but with the same objective in mind, since the gameplay teaches you that your weapons are lasers to cut body parts from your opponents, and it can be used in different ways to neutralize them or to finish them off with less bullets, since they are really hard to get in harder modes. See? You can get much more personality in your gameplay. It can be much more fun than just... You may shoot with those same buttons in other games, but they make the shooting fun. They design their game around it being fun, not just... Starfield has some good ideas, like the branch to control alien mines. That can be fun and change the gameplay a lot. Or it could just be like the familiars in Skyrim, that they just stay there as you, all over the place. I like exploration games. I love getting lost in them, and I love having the freedom to explore the game as I want, and that doesn't have to mean open world always. Celeste is a wonderful piece of gaming, a 10 out of 10. The game is a 2D platformer that doesn't hold your hand and gives you some sort of freedom, since there is obviously a faster way to clear the stages. But sometimes I have finished a level without doing the thing that was expected from me, because they thought of the gameplay. Maybe the way I did it wasn't planned, but it was allowed. They give you the rules and the limitations, and now it's your job to have fun with it and enjoy yourself while beating it in any way you like. And Starfield seems to be a game that promises a lot of that, since it has a lot of detail and hard work put into it. It looks like a Bethesda game through and through. Just look at the hint they put inside the game from Fallout. You can level up a trait that lets you do something like those freeze the screen shoot Pip-Boy thingies in the spacecraft battles. But if, outside of walking and finding things in the overworld, the only way I can interact with the world is... I'm really scared the game is going to lose its charm on me in a couple of hours. They need to make the players more involved in what's happening. I remember this experience as a Starfield experience and not as a shooter experience. Let us make use of the world you are building. Like, let us ride aliens and control them. Allow weapon combos like a weapon that leaves metal balls floating where you shoot them, and maybe they keep moving a little bit because of the gravity, and then you can use an electric weapon to make a chain reaction and take care of a large number of enemies. If an alien creature likes a certain fruit, let us throw that fruit into the enemy camp, so the creature can burst the camp while we loot if we are low on bullets. Let your players have fun with this awesome galaxy you are building, and not just keep us tied to the old... This game is giving me the vibe that it's going to be something big, but I can't help to be scared because of the past experiences I have with Bethesda. I really want something that challenges me, that lets me explore the world and have fun while doing it. Zelda is such a masterpiece because it let me do it in the way I like. Zelda was such a revolution in open world games because it allows us to use everything in the world. They allow us to play. We are playing a game. Let us have fun with it. And I really hope Bethesda is doing this with this game, and I can really use everything that is around me and not just go with the plain old Bethesda gameplay that really makes their giant and meticulous world building feel empty. And I'm really hoping the game is good. I know I talk a lot about personality in this video, and Starfield tries to do something like that with the zero gravity battles, where if you shoot regular bullets, you're pushed to the opposite direction. But that is not enough since it doesn't change the gameplay at all, and it could just be a really annoying obstacle. If they added more things in this zero gravity stuff, and they might, it may start to gain some personality, but just in the zero gravity battles. Me and my friends played Fallout 3 to get footage for this video, and oh my god was it painful. I didn't remember the game being that bad. It's not fun, the gameplay is really lacking, and you can't say it's just because it's an old game. Tetris, Super Mario Bros., Castlevania and Chrono freaking Trigger are old, but all of them understood that the gameplay comes first, without putting their story in the chambers, like in the case of Chrono Trigger. Good story, good gameplay, good freedom to create your favorite team comp and battle however you like. I think I'll cover more about gameplay in a future video since it's really important.